go ahead, AP.
No, I was just going to say I would think that in I would hope, let me rephrase. I would hope in most cases that the man would weigh the pros and cons and understand that you can get uh in-home camera for $40 and get that put in every room, link it to your phone, and you can kind of help protect yourself from those situations before you move a strange woman into your house. That if you
Hey,
don't have any of
how
the,
about
if you
we
don't
don't
have, go
move
ahead.
strange person? How about we just don't move strange people into our houses? Like
No, I do agree with that.
that's the simple fix of this. Like the fact that people even do that again is mind boggling, be it men or women. Like I just don't understand it. I I had went on a binge of watching like the court TV shows, and I want to say it was either Judge Judy or Judge Mathis. And there was a case where this woman came home with her best friend after a long night of partying and drinking, and there's this dude that was on the porch sleep. It's 4 or 5 in the morning, something like that. These two women sit down and have a conversation with this grown man, and essentially one of the girls move him in her house that very night. Now, mind you, this guy just got out of jail and was waiting for his grandma to wake up or something, and 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 couldn't get in, so he slept on the porch on the front. She moves this guy in. They get into a relationship, and he starts stealing from her and all type of other stuff. And she's like in the courtroom, like baffled by what's going on. Like, oh, I thought he was this and that, and it's like, girl, this you just met this man that just came out of jail, sleeping on your front porch, and you move him into your house. Like, why do women do that?
This before we dive into that, just a quick question, because this happens a lot, especially in college towns, where there will be four-bedroom apartments and four strangers will be
That's
put
college.
together.
That's college.
But is it really different?
That's completely different.
How so?
That's completely different. This is something that's organized, right? This is an organized setup where these four different people have their own individual rooms, and then of course a shared space, right? To That's completely different from coming home and finding some random man sleeping on the front porch, and you move him into the house just because he's cute.
I'm
That's
just looking at it. I'm looking at it from the stranger aspect because it's the same scenario. Like the guy. We're gonna go back to what, or just go back to what Shan was talking about before. This dude is saying, "Hey, I just need a place that's not super expensive. I'm trying to get back on my feet. Is there anybody that has a room available?" Basically, is what he's asking, and all of these women are saying yes. How is that any different from four strangers moving into a college apartment?
Well,
that's
it's a little different. As a person who
that's
used to work in
that's
housing,
completely different, man.
at a college when I was in college, it's
That's
it's a little
completely
different because so
It's
so
not a little. Don't say
so
it's a
so
little.
so it is
That's a lot
different,
of
and
different.
let me tell you why it's different, right? So there are, don't get it twisted, you could be with a person who just mentally loses it, because we've seen those incidents as well. But for the most part, when you are attending a college, the college, there's an acceptance, right? So when you pull up a document, it's going to have all of your behavior. It's going to have your entire background to pull up to see if you're a liability to the campus, to even have you on campus. That's what most colleges will do. So you kind of like a track record of people. You're not just accepting, I would hope not, just anybody. But again, you just never know. There are people who turn out to, you know, but that's a very, very small percentage. You're going to have a bigger issue, which is a stranger on the street, than you will going to a college and meeting somebody, for the first time in a college. I don't think that they're the same.
That's nowhere near the same, man. That's not even in
Mm,
the same ballpark.
Yeah.
Listen, you literally are signing up for the most random. Unless you pick your team or the people that you live with, you don't know who's up in that place. Now, granted, the difference that I can see is that this is somebody that more than likely you're choosing to be in a relationship with, and then you're bringing them in your home. And versus when you're on a university, you don't own that place. The people own that place, and you guys agree to stay there for X amount of time until your time is up. But
And
like,
and, and it's not men, and it's not a co-ed living area that they're in. It's going to be all men in that space or all women.
that's not
hey,
correct.
listen, we definitely had some stuff going on in those dorms.
Well, see, I don't. It's not even the dorm. I'm talking about the apartments, and that's not necessarily correct. Viz, where it's gonna be three or four of the same gender. Like my son is actually gonna be staying off campus in an apartment with three other roommates. One of them happens to be a female.
Off
S-
campus. We're talking about on campus.
It's student housing. It's all still done kind of through the school, and that's the way a lot of college apartments work.
It's a community college.
No, it's a major university.
Oh man, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen, man.
But you see my point.
I'm not understanding your point.
So you got four. So imagine a giant apartment complex
Yes,
with four bedrooms.
correct.
You are moving in. You have never met the people you are moving in with.
Most
So we're
college.
that far, right? And just kind of to debunk one of the points Viz made is that they're all either male or female. That isn't correct.
No, some of them are
At
co-ed.
least, right. So again, you don't know these people, and you don't know what the hell you're gonna wind up with. Hell, you don't know if they will actually drive you insane. I mean, there are so many different scenarios that can play out. So I don't see the difference between.
There's definitely a difference still,
Yeah,
but y-
I still
there's a
think it's a
difference.
difference because a random person, a random woman moving a man in, and maybe not so much in the case of the worst roommates ever, the TV show, but these women that are willing to move this random man in, essentially because he's attractive. Now there's a sexual motivation behind it. You know what I'm saying? So now these women could arguably be considered sexual predators if you really kind of think about it. Just for this man to potentially be a sexual predator and then find themselves in this position that they can't get out of, and then blame all men for, you know what I'm saying, for whatever. So it is, in my opinion, it's still no different. uh just because it's a university, you know that this person is essentially going to the college. They have something to lose. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a background check, hopefully, depending on what college you're going to. So there's a lot of
There
different
is.
factors. Yeah, there's a lot of different factors that plays a part compared to just letting a stray cat in your house.